is FPL Pickle and welcome back to another video. So today we have my Game Week 11 team selection, and just when I was so certain I was going to activate a chip, things of course in the midweek have thrown a spanner in the works. So if you enjoyed today's video, please give the video a like and also consider subscribing as well. I'd really like to get to around 8,000 subscribers before Christmas, so if you'd like to subscribe then please do, I really appreciate that. But before we dive into my Game Week 11 team selection, I'd just like to very briefly go over how Game Week 10 went for me, and if any of you have watched my Pickles preview video already, feel free to skip this, but you can also check it out later on if you fancy. But for those of you who haven't, in Game Week 10 I ended up on a very tiny green arrow. It was basically a grey from 1.65 million to 1.6 million, 73 points. I was fairly happy with that. Funnily enough, I kept João Pedro, and of course, this is the week that he takes 10 million shots and has missed 3 big chances and scores a goal. So I will take it, especially when before that we saw Mateta scoring, Welbeck scoring, and that was obviously causing a little bit of anxiety. Voltemada, on the other hand, was a little bit disappointing coming off at half time, but I'm hoping that things will be different, and with Gordon being out unfortunately for Brentford, that means that Voltemada is very likely on pens, so I'm going to keep him for Game Week 11 anyway. In terms of the team, it was mainly the defence that really smashed it. Gabriel obviously doing fantastic again. I did end up captaining Haaland and he just about outscored Gabriel, so either way it would have gone well, but I am glad I kind of just stuck with the safe captaincy there. The one thing that was quite disappointing was Xhaka absolutely having a stormer game last game week. Got 10 points in the end. I was very relieved he didn't get Defcon because I knew I wasn't going to get him off the bench. And I imagine he's not going to do quite the same thing against Arsenal at home, but I'm very happy to have him as an asset. So there we go, that's my team for Game Week 10. Didn't do too badly, but we do have some work to do because ideally I'd like to be in the top 1 million at least. So what I'll do now is show you how my team is looking for Game Week 11 and what my plans will be. So here we are for Game Week 11, right before the international break. This is what the back line is looking like. I currently have 3 free transfers and 0 money in the bank. So I have Pope in goal against Brentford away, and you could argue to start Dubravka, but I think Pope's probably the safe bet here anyway. It is unfortunate that Newcastle haven't been keeping clean sheets, and now that I think about it, I feel like especially when Timber hasn't been doing that much attacking wise, Ryan might have actually been okay as an option on the wild card. But you know what? Regardless, I'm still happy to have Pope. I understand that Livramento was gonna, inevitably the lack of him have an impact on how they do defensively. But they did really well midweek and Pope performed exceptionally well. So, the good goalkeeper is in there. We just got to hope for Brentford away that they can do something. Even if it's just save points, I will take it. And then of course we've got double Arsenal's defence. Never going to bench them anyway. Gabriel's been absolutely incredible. And like I said last week, I don't like to call players essential, but I think he really is. And I wouldn't go taking loads of hits to get him, but if you need him for like a -4, I would probably go for it. He's just been incredible on set pieces, and just, I don't know, his form at the moment is absolutely unreal. He's always been incredible, but at the moment he's just on another level, so extremely happy to have him. And this week is another game week where you could potentially have him as captain. I'm personally not going to go there for Sunderland away because I think Sunderland, they have quite a lot of drive, and I don't know whether they'll score, but I don't know, I have a feeling they're going to really give it a good go. So I'm not going to captain Gabriel on this occasion or even think about it on this occasion. Timber, like I mentioned, I am very happy to have him because Arsenal defender, I can't go without Arsenal defence ever again. But he's not really delivering the attacking threat that he was before, but I still don't mind having him. I'm very happy to have him for this game week, and I'm hoping that he is going to continue to start each game week. And then Richards against Brighton at home, very happy to have him as well. Palace, of course, did well last night. He did start though, when he normally doesn't, which worries me a little, but I think he will start and it will be absolutely fine. In terms of the bench, I've got Senesi against Villa away, and I don't really like the fact that he's on the bench there, but there's just no one that I feel that I'd want to bench ahead of him. And so this is why the BB chip is on my mind. And of course Rodon against Forest away is definitely not as good of a fixture as it was a few weeks ago, but I'm still happy to have him there. So that's the defence. Let's now move on to how the midfield is looking. So guys, this is my midfield, and once again I'm in a 3-4-3 formation, as you can see. First player being Semenyo against Villa away. Hasn't been getting the returns as much recently, but nevertheless very happy to have him. Villa are not great defensively. We've kept a few clean sheets, but I think Semenyo could do something in this game, and I do kind of favour Bournemouth in this game, so I know that's bad to say, but Semenyo, especially with his high ownership, I'm not going to sell him at this point in time. Saka, last game week missed 2 huge chances, which was a shame as an owner, and especially with the likes of Rice, who is much cheaper, has so many avenues to points, looking like a slightly better value for money at the moment. But nevertheless, for Sunderland away, I'm very happy to have Saka. He's getting the chances and I can see him returning very soon. And with Gyökeres being out as well, he's going to be on pens. So more than happy to have him. And the vice is currently on him. I am sort of tempted to captain him, I'm not going to lie. Although Liverpool's defence has been leaky, I feel that Haaland won't have as easy of a time as a lot of people seem to think. But it's Haaland, you know what I mean? And with captaincy, I've always been a little bit safer. Part of me wants to go there though. It's a good fixture to target, but I'm not sure just yet. I wouldn't rule out changing my mind, but the vice is on him for now. Then we've got Sarr against Brighton at home, and this is the player that's thrown the spanner in the works a little bit for me. Played last night, got a brace, he was unreal, but he came off quite early, and Glasser said that he's got a little bit of tightness in his hamstring. Felt it before that game, but felt it again during the game, and that's why he came off. Now, that does worry me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. And I suppose I could maybe put Senesi first on my bench, or just keep Xhaka first on my bench, as you can see, just in case he doesn't play. But I would quite like him to, because I don't have any other Crystal Palace attackers, I don't have a Mateta, so for this game I really would quite like him to start. And of course, with my plans to activate the bench boost, I'd really like him to, because I'd preferably not want to use a transfer on the sake of activating it. So we'll see. We'll have to wait on news. I'm struggling a little bit with that at the moment. And then finally, Enzo against Wolves at home, fantastic fixture. Wolves are, they're having a terrible season. I do feel for Wolves fans. I think it's going to take a miracle for things to improve at this stage. It's not been very good for them. So, Agbadu's out as well. They're going to be weaker defensively. And so Enzo for this, on pens, been getting the chances, missed a huge chance last game week. It's a shame he's not been delivering the points, but it's coming. And I think this could be the game week where he gets them. So that's the midfield that's starting. Like I said, Xhaka's on the bench. Arsenal at home. He played very well last game week. Not a great fixture this game week, but it's at home. And because it's his old team, I just have this feeling that he could do something. Like if Sunderland are going to do something, I feel like it could be him. At the very least, I reckon he'll get DEFCON points, so it's kind of like a banked 4-pointer, I suppose. So it's not the best option in the world, especially for a bench boost, but at this point, I kind of just like out the way and I don't mind it. And I'm very happy to have him in the long run. So that's the midfield. Let's now talk about how my forwards are looking. So guys, before we move on to my forwards and discussing chip dilemmas, I'd just like to thank Club for sponsoring this video. For those of you who do not know, Club is a fantasy football mobile game which involves you building up a club from the ground up and competing with people each week head to head, and it's a really good game. I really recommend it. Unfortunately, last game week I had an absolutely stinking game week. I think I lost by about 60 points. It was absolutely terrible. And to be honest with you, my team has some work to do. I've got a few players that need some contract extensions and it's just not looking the best, so I need to meet with Manny today, who's my agent, and see if he can get me a player that will benefit my team for the long run. Okay, so I'm going to meet with Manny now and hopefully he can get me a player that I need. Base, core, rare, okay. Defender, I'm not gonna lie, I have quite a lot of defenders, but we'll see. Fulham, okay. Anderson, ooh. You know what? I'm going to sign him. And to be honest, I have a lot of salary cap left. So do I start him though? I got Timber on loan, which was a bit random in hindsight. But I'm going to put him in the team. I like it. Okay, that's made the team a little bit better, I feel. If you guys are interested in giving Club a go, and it's absolutely fine to join at any point in the season since it's a weekly head-to-head, then please click the link down below in the description. It's absolutely free. And I also have a league called the Pickle League, and I'd love to see as many of you as possible. My code is 8CVY7QL. I've currently got 517 members. I'd love to get it to about 550. So please do if you join. I'd love to see as many of you, and I'd love to compete with you. Again, thank you so much, Club, for sponsoring. Now let's get back to the video. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my forward line. Of course, Haaland against Liverpool at home, and like I mentioned before, the captaincy is currently on him. Liverpool are not doing amazingly defensively, and just knowing how good his form is at the moment, he's been absolutely incredible at the start of this season. I just feel, especially with his ownership, I don't know whether it's worth taking the risk. I suppose to jump up in rank though, I need to start taking some risks, but I don't know whether this is the right time to do that. But I'm thinking about it. Like I said, I haven't ruled out captaining Saka just yet. The thing is with Saka as well, he's still, obviously he's not like a mega differential, but 17.1%, that's still quite low, isn't it? So I'm still gaining quite a lot of rank if he hauls. So I don't feel the need as much to captain him for the sake of getting ahead, if that makes sense. And then we've got Voltemada, like I mentioned, he's been disappointing. Of course, the 1 pointer last week really sucked, especially when there were so many forwards that did return. But I think he's okay for this game week. I reckon he can score here, and he'll be on pens as well, which is a nice bonus. Well, we'll definitely be on pens anyway. And then finally, João Pedro, the absolute troll of FPL. I think at this point it would be silly to sell him against Wolves at home. It's a great fixture really. And again, midweek he did absolutely nothing, but I'm just going to hope and pray that he can do something for me. It's a bit of a shame because obviously with the Gyökeres situation, people are now jumping back on him, which is not ideal, I guess, when, not that he's a differential whatsoever right now, but he felt a little bit more differential. Some people are getting him back, but I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. But yeah, those are the forwards. Looks alright. I think the team looks okay. I'll talk about now some of the plans that I have with the team and where it may go. So guys, I'm sure you can see with my very advanced graphic that I am currently planning to activate the bench boost, and it's the same bench boost that I've been discussing for a few weeks now. I know it's not the strongest, but like I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I cannot be bothered with trying to make a bench boost look pretty, because last season I had what I thought was the nicest bench boost, and it ended up with the goalkeeper conceding in the first minute or so, and then 2 penalty misses. And it was Konza of all players that saved it. I think I got 12 points in the end. So I'm not that bothered about making it look absolutely clean, because let's be real, this game is unpredictable. Anything can happen in any given game week, and I don't want the stress of trying to force it to look a certain way just for the sake of activating it. So in my opinion, I think it's good enough, and I personally just want to get it out the way anyway before the international break. So Dubravka against West Ham at home. Again, I understand it's not as good of a fixture as it was before, and especially when it's away, but it's not the worst. I can cope with it, and at the very least, he can get save points for me, I'm sure, so I'm okay with it. And then, like I mentioned, Xhaka, I've just got this feeling that he could do something against Arsenal. I know that's not really ideal when I have double Arsenal clean sheet, but, well, potentially a clean sheet. Defence, I meant. But if anyone is going to wipe it out, wouldn't mind if it's Xhaka, you know what I mean? So, again, don't hate it. Senesi, like I said, with Villa away, I don't like the idea of benching him. So I think it'd be really strong if I had him in this bench boost. I suppose, like I said, if Sarah's out, then maybe I'll put him first bench anyway, but we'll talk about that in a bit. And Rodon, like I mentioned before, it's not as good of a fixture as it seemed a few weeks ago, but it's good enough, and I could see him scoring a set-piece goal in this game. So I'm happy enough with it, but obviously with the issue around Sarr, I thought I was getting so lucky with the injury thing, like no NDI, no Gyökeres, but now there's this potential issue with Sarr. It didn't seem like it was too serious, and Glasner made it seem like it was just a very, very small bit of tightness that he was experiencing, but the game's not too far away. It's on the 9th, so there is that risk that he may not start, and I don't know whether I want to activate the bench boost knowing that there's that doubt there. So I have a few options. I either just do it and hope that Sarr plays, hope for the best. I make a transfer. I don't have any money in the bank, so it'd have to be 6.6 or below. I could do that. I could maybe get a Soboslai or something, but that's not great against Man City. There's not really many options that I'd love. There's obviously NDI, but then we don't know whether he's going to be fit enough either. Or I just delay the bench boost further and potentially activate it in game week 12, because arguably it looks a little bit better then, but that comes with risk as well because there's the opportunity for more injuries to accumulate there. So it's not ideal. It's not ideal at all. So let me know what you guys think about this. Do you reckon I should just go for it? Do you think it's too risky? Do you think I should transfer in a certain player? I'd rather not, to be honest, because I've got 3 frees and I know that's a decent amount, but I'd like to accumulate a few more before game week 13 where the fixtures start to turn around. So it is a difficult one, and I am sort of and ahhing now. It's such a shame because I was so ready to just get it over and done with, but of course this has caused a little bit of a dilemma for me. Another issue I suppose I have, which I sort of talked about already, is the captaincy. I think it will stay on Haaland, to be perfectly honest with you, but like I said, I'm not ruling out second captaincy at all. So there we have it, guys. That's my Game Week 11 team selection video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, let me know down in the comments what you think about the team. Do you think I should bench boost at all or not? And if I were to activate this, how many points do you think I'd get? Be brutally honest, I don't mind. You know what? If it gets more than 12, then I'll take it, honestly. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.